In this video, I'm going to beat HeartGold with the Yanmega-line and see how it does in comparison with all the other Pokemon that I've run to date. Now, Yanma in Generation 2 was absolutely terrible. I did a re-ranking stream and I didn't even get to a second playthrough because it just was doing so badly and I ran out of time. As I've been doing my HeartGold series, I have been realizing that these games are really hard to solo challenge. So you'd think that Yanma would be really bad, even though it has an evolution now which is Yanmega. But that's not really the case. Still, I am starting with Yanma and its base stats are pretty bad. 65 HP and attack, 45 defense and special defense, 95 speed, and 75 special attack. Yes, this line is a special attacking line, even though the bug and flying types were physical types in generations 1 to 3. But now since the physical special split, I will be able to use some special moves until you look at Yanma's move pool, which is mostly physical, at least in the early game. Tackle, Foresight, Quick Attack at level 6, then through level up, double team Sonic Boom, which is special but deals fixed damage, so that's not really a special move. Detect, Supersonic, Uproar, which is special, but it's at level 27, and it only has base 50 power. Beyond that, Pursuit, which is physical, Ancient Power at level 33, and this move is special and is required for Yanma in order to evolve into Yanmega. Now, I might not want to evolve at level 33 because Hypnosis is at level 38, and I was thinking that this would be my best option against Jasmine's Steelix, which does no Rock Throw. It'll be doing 4 times damage to these bug flying types. Although evolving for the increased stats is going to be very seductive because I don't want to stay as a Yanma for too long. In the end, I'm trying to do solo challenges as quickly as possible, and evolving is definitely going to speed up my pace. Now, I need to talk about the thing that's really going to be the game changer in this solo challenge. Both Yanma and Yanmega's abilities. Yanma has either Speed Boost or Compound Eyes. Speed Boost raises your speed after every turn, which is really good. You can always outspeed enemy targets, but I don't think that's important for a Pokemon that already has high base speed. The better ability here is Compound Eyes, meaning my accuracy values will all be multiplied by 1.3. If the value exceeds 1, then accuracy goes back to 100%. This is why in the bottom when you look at my moves, you can see that Tackle has 100% accuracy instead of 95. Now Compound Eyes will also help with moves like Sonic Boom, it has 90% accuracy, and Supersonic, which has 55% accuracy, but overall, this isn't going to be the better ability because once Yanma evolves, it loses Compound Eyes and gains Tinted Lens. This ability was introduced in Generation 4 and it is absolutely fantastic. Whenever a Pokemon with Tinted Lens deals damage to an enemy target, if the move is not very effective, its damage will be multiplied by 2. In cases where the opponent has a single resistance, it will make the move I'm using neutrally effective. And in the case of a double resistance, like using a poison type move against Brock's Pokemon, which are rock ground types, then those moves will deal half damage instead of a quarter damage. This is another reason evolving into Yanmega is going to be so powerful. Essentially, I will hit almost everything in the game for at least neutral damage, which is so broken. In this challenge, the rival's going to be picking Cyndaquil to make things as hard as possible against me. In the early game, things are pretty simple. I get access to Quick Attack early on, and then I can use it to make my way quickly through all of Sprout Tower. The only battle in here that even gets a little bit close is against Elderly. His Hoot Hoot has Peck, which is super effective. However, Yanma still pulls through with a decent amount of health left over. Inside the gym, I face Birdkeeper Abe. He's nowhere near as scary as he was in Generation 2. In Crystal, you can skip Sprout Tower, but in HeartGold, it's mandatory. The extra experience from that area of the game largely makes Abe irrelevant. After defeating Birdkeeper Rod, my Yanma is level 14. Let's see if this is enough to take on Faulkner. Pidgey is up first. Here, I'm going for Quick Attack and I'm able to 2-shot. Now, Pidgey did lower my accuracy with Sand Attack. Even though it's a ground type move, it still does hit flying type Pokemon. Pidgeotto's next. Quick Attack is doing really bad damage, but by this point I've learned Sonic Boom. It is going to be far more reliable, and I should have gone for it on turn 1, because Pidgeotto has exactly 40 health. If it's using Roost, it's never going to heal enough, and if it attacks, Yanma can just survive and 2-shot using Sonic Boom. So the first gym leader ends up being easy, despite our type disadvantage. The win here gives me access to the TM for Roost. Now, it will be useful for Yanma, at least theoretically, but I don't want to use it too early on, because there's only one of them available in the entire entire playthrough, and I don't like getting my moveset constrained and then having to forget something that I would really want to have for the final battle against Red. Before going south, I pick up the Heartstone from Arthur so that I can boost the power of Ancient Power once I learn it. I pick up some berries in the Ruins of Alph, and then heading south, I get the Miracle Seed given to me. This is a good opportunity for me to go through the TM and HM learn set that Yanma has available to it. It does learn both Giga Drain and Solar Beam, but both of these special moves are only in Kanto. For special damage other than Uproar and Ancient Power, I am going to have to wait until level 54 for Air Slash, and then 57 for Bug Buzz. Now looking through all of the other TMs available to Yanma, there aren't a lot of other special options. Psychic, but it's in Kanto. Shadow Ball, but I have to beat Morty first to get access to it. Silver Wind, this one is just around the corner, and then Dream Eater, which is also available only in Kanto. I skipped over Hidden Power because it's banned in these first playthroughs of HeartGold. By the way, these are the rules. I didn't mention them earlier on. They're also in the description if you want to reference them later. Before Union Cave, I grab the Shell Bell, and then when I'm fighting trainers inside of the cave, Yanma levels up, and I teach Detect in the place of Tackle. I taught this because I'm thinking of Bugsy from Generation 2, who loves to spam Fury Cutter with his Scyther, but in this game he has U-Turn instead. However, Detect still could be theoretically useful against Whitney and her Miltank, which still has Rollout. Sonic Boom gives Yanma a good way to get by all of the rock types in the cave, but outside of the cave I skip Hiker Anthony because his Geodude knows Rock Throw, and I really don't want to get hit by that. The rockets are easy inside of Slowpoke Well, so now let's go up against Bugsy. Unlike in Gen 2, Scyther is his lead because it wants to use U-Turn. I thought I could go for Detect here and block U-Turn, but this is a bad idea because the Scyther wants to set up Focus Energy first. Then from there, using Sonic Boom, I have to 3-shot because his Scyther has 52 HP, but it also has a Citrus Berry. So he's able to heal a little bit. I use one more Sonic Boom, then he uses a Super Potion, which he doesn't have in Generation 2, and as a result his lead and Ace finishes Yanma off. Okay, I'm going to try this differently. Just Sonic Boom right away. In this case, I burn the Citrus Berry quickly, but he still is going to use the Super Potion. So maybe Quick Attack on turn 1 will prevent the Super Potion from being used. However, this also prevents me from being able to 3-shot using Sonic Boom. So I don't think that's the solution either. I'm just under a damage rounding threshold at level 19, so I backtrack into the wild, fight some Pokemon, and level up to 20, getting myself more damage. The approach I take to Scyther is very simple. Just spam Sonic Boom. While he is going to heal with both the Citrus Berry and the Super Potion, this does allow me to knock out his lead and move on to his 2 final Pokemon. Now the Metapod has an annoying amount of health, 41. It will take 3 hits with Sonic Boom. That said, the Kakuna only has 39, and I was very sure that I was about to win here. However, it has Poison Sting. It uses it, Yanma shrugs it off. That said, the Poison move inflicts the status condition, and as a result, I take damage and Yanma faints. So I have to do Bugsy one more time. Not all is lost though. I learned something. At level 20, I can go for Quick Attack on turn 1. Then after the Citrus Berry, I will still 2-shot using Sonic Boom. This gives Yanma orange health for the remainder of the fight, and without a status condition from the Kakuna, Bugsy's defeated. Okay, let's talk about U-Turn, the prize TM. This seems like it would be a fantastic move to teach to Yanma right now. It gets the same type attack bonus and it has a base power of 70. While my attack stat is slightly lower than my special attack, it's going to hit much harder than all the other moves that I'm currently able to use. Here's the thing though, U-Turn's secondary effect causes it to switch out with another Pokemon on your team. Now, if I deposit all of my HM users, this secondary effect does not take place. The Pokemon using U-Turn just attacks the opponent and no switching happens, cause it can't. However, what this means is I would constantly have to go back and forth to the Pokemon Center, depositing all my HM users, withdrawing them to bypass like a single cut tree, then depositing them all again. That would waste a lot of time, so I didn't think this was the right choice for Yanma. Instead, I battled the rival with my current set. This is the reason I held on to Foresight, because his lead is ghastly. I'm gonna have to damage it with either Quick Attack or Sonic Boom, so Foresight on turn 1, then Quick Attack to knock it out over 2 turns. I got lucky here because he didn't choose to use Curse, which would have caused me to lose. Quilava is second, and I have to knock it out over 3 turns. Here's the thing, Sonic Boom has 100% accuracy because of Compound Eyes, and after 1 turn of Smokescreen, it still has 87% accuracy, so I don't miss, turns, knock out the Quilava, and move on to the Zubat, which takes 2 turns with Sonic Boom, and that's that for the rival. This was the only battle in the entire run that had the potential to be difficult without U-turn, because over the next section of the game, Yanma is going to get major moveset upgrades. Inside the forest, I decided to let go of Detect and learn Headbutt. Now I have a more powerful normal type move. Outside of the forest, Yanma levels up to 22, and I have the chance to learn Supersonic, but I decided to say no to it. 55 base accuracy is just too bad. Even with Compound Eyes, this move is not really going to be usable. Okay, Voltorb Flip. I'm going to earn myself a bunch of coins here and purchase some items. The TM for Substitute, the TM for Rest, and then the Silk Scarf, which will boost the power of normal type moves. Okay, Whitney's gym is next, and she has the potential to be a major hurdle for Yanma. I fight all of the trainers inside of the gym for a little bit extra experience, but this doesn't get me to level 25 over the next damage rounding threshold. So let's see if I can pull this off. I'm so worried about rollout. It's going to do massive damage. Clefairy is first. I go for Headbutt, and I am able to 2-shot her lead. Miltank is next. Now Yanma is faster, so I will be able to flinch it using Headbutt. Turn 1, that's what happens. Turn 2, I get a second flinch, but it looks like it's going to take 5 turns to knock out. One more Headbutt brings it down to low orange health, but it does look like it's going to survive another. Its rollout hits now, doing about a third in damage, which is less than I was expecting. I go for Headbutt one more time, and it does enough damage, so I pull through against Whitney on my first attempt. The prize for beating her is the TM for Attract, which is a fantastic TM in the late game of HeartGold. For now though, I'm just going to hold on to it. Speaking of TMs, I forgot to pick up one earlier. Inside the department store, I can go up to the little raffle desk and get myself a copy of Silverwind. It's bug type ancient power, so it has a chance to raise all of my stats by 1 stage whenever I use it, but it's only a 10% chance. It's pretty unlikely, although this and ancient power are the only setup moves that the Yanmega-line has access to in Generation 4. So I do anticipate that at least once or twice during this challenge, I'm gonna have to luck through a battle with an Omni boost. I didn't teach Silverwind right away. I'm not really sure why looking back on this footage. I definitely should have. I could have given up Foresight. The reason I'm holding on to that move is because right now I can't attack ghosts with my current set. However, I'm gonna get to level 33 before Morty either way because fighting him with Silverwind doesn't make any sense. It only has 5 PP. In order to accomplish this leveling up, I fight everyone north of Goldenrod City as well as all of the trainers inside of the national park. I also fight everyone west of Ecruteak City and in the lighthouse. While I'm doing this training, I level up, and this is where I can learn Pursuit. This is going to be a good move against ghost type Pokemon, so I didn't need to hold on to Foresight. I could have just taught Silverwind, and also Sonic Boom is kind of bad by this point in the playthrough, so I could have given that up as well. By the end of the lighthouse, by the time I'm fighting Birdkeeper Dennis, Yanma levels up to 33 and learns Ancient Power in the place of Sonic Boom. I made the choice here to evolve into Yanmega and give up Hypnosis for the rest of the run. After all, the move with base 60% accuracy pairs much better with Compound Eyes rather than Tinted Lens. Evolving into Yanmega gives some major stat upgrades: 86 HP and defense, 76 attack, only 56 special defense, and its speed doesn't change. But I've left one stat for last, because Yanmega has a special attack of 116. Seriously, where did that come from? It was a fairly balanced attacker as a Yanma, and then its special attack just has this outrageous growth spurt. For this reason, I think it makes most sense to play a purely special Yanmega throughout the remainder of the game. But again, I don't have access to a lot of special moves right now. While Yanmega's move pool is a little bit bigger than Yanma's, it just doesn't give me access to anything in this section of the game. Although I will mention that Air Slash and Bug Buzz are still at the same levels as they were for Yanma, so evolving doesn't push those moves later into the playthrough, which is really nice. The rival in Burned Tower is next. I have Ancient Power for his Ghastly. I figured that this would one-shot with my higher special attack. I didn't want to use Pursuit because I also wanted to chance myself getting an Omni boost. Here's the thing, Yanmega doesn't need it. This thing is kind of a beast. I one-shot the Quilava because I'm so over-leveled. Even the Magnemite is a one-shot. Now here, I will admit that I got the effective power calculation wrong for my overlay, so Ancient Power does have an effective power of 60 against this Magnemite because of Tinted Lens. I'm going to fix this calculation later into the playthrough. I'll draw it to your attention when that happens. For now, let's head into the Ecruteak City gym and face Morty. Ancient Power is neutral, I'm holding the Hard Stone to boost its power, and against Ghastly, I get a one-shot. His Ace Gengar comes in next. Ancient Power can't one-shot, but it can do enough damage to two-shot even when the Gengar consumes its Citrus Berry. Also, it misses Hypnosis, so this was a simple win, because I one-shot the following two Haunters. Well done, Yanmega. This line is actually doing much better in this playthrough than I was expecting, at least up until now. And things just get easier from here on out, because I can use the TM for Shadow Ball and get access to another special move. Now Yanmega has access to 3. Next, I'm going to go to the Cyanwood City Gym. I want to mention here that there's one trainer that's a little bit worrying, Black Belt Knob. He has a Machoke, which has Rock Slide, just like it does in Generation 2. This move deals 4 times damage to Yanmega. In this case though, it doesn't do that much because the Machoke is just so underleveled compared to my Yanmega. So now let's face Chuck. It's a little bit annoying to have to go up against him with a flying type with no flying type damage. Primeape is first. I'm constantly forgetting that this thing has Rock Slide on its moveset, so I went for Headbutt. It's not doing half damage. I should be using my special moves here, Shadow Ball specifically. I choose it on the next turn and two-shot after tanking 1 Rock Slide, which takes Yanmega to roughly half prior to the Poliwrath. But it doesn't have Rock Slide. And even though Shadow Ball isn't doing as much damage, I should be able to 3-shot. However, then Poliwrath paralyzes me with Body Slam. It uses Surf, bringing Yanmega down to red health, and luckily I'm not fully paralyzed on the final turn and I knock out his ace. We get Fly after this, but Yanmega can't learn it. Of course, that makes sense. I am going to though finally teach Silver Wind in the place of Headbutt, giving Yanmega a fully special set. The red Gyarados is easy to manage because I have access to Ancient Power. I fought this optional trainer with Magnemites inside of the hideout just to see how difficult they were going to be. I'm getting a little bit worried about Jasmine, and no, these Magnemites aren't an issue. I'm one-shotting all of them. Tinted Lens is a really satisfying ability. It actually might be one of the best abilities for a solo challenge. Since you're relying on only a single Pokemon, there are often cases where you have to be attacking for not very effective damage. So it's removing one of the most fundamental barriers that Pokemon have during these challenges. At this point in the run, my thought process around Yanmega had really shifted. I went into this expecting it to be bad like Yanma was in Generation 2, but maybe this thing is going to be quite good. It might just be able to find itself near the top of the tier list. Now it technically does have a type disadvantage to Pryce, who's the next gym leader. Seal's up first. Note here, I have not fixed the Tinted Lens calculation. Although Seal is not an ice type, so it doesn't matter. Against Dugong, I have super effective damage with Ancient Power. I'm not getting Omni Boosts, which is a bit disappointing. Against the Piloswine is where it really matters. Ancient Power here should be doing neutral damage because the ground type resists rock type damage, but my calculation is off, so it's showing Ancient Power as super effective, which is just wrong. So why am I talking about this now during the Pryce battle? Well, I've got to fill time. He is a bad gym leader. So with Pryce defeated, now I have to go up against Jasmine. This is a little bit scary. Prior to this fight, I need to update Yanmega's moveset. I'm going to teach its Substitute in the place of Uproar. With that, I think I'm about as ready as I can be for Jasmine. The reason I taught Substitute before this battle is because the Magnemites both have Thunder Wave, and I think in Gen 4 the AI works similarly to how it does in Generation 3. Whenever it sees the enemy outspeeding it, it's going to try to speed control. So I should be able to set up Substitute here, block Thunder Wave over and over, and then never have to tank a Thunderbolt from the Magnemites. Plus I won't have a status condition for the Steelix, and I will be able to survive at least one hit from Rock Throw. Everything is working out according to plan. Magnemite is not attacking, spamming Thunder Wave over and over again. I have to take multiple hits with Ancient Power to knock it out, but this is actually good. It gives me more time to trigger the Omni Boost, and I do get it on her first Magnemite, which is great. The next Magnemite goes down to a single hit with Ancient Power, no second Omni Boost. Now, let's see how the Steelix is. It comes in, it looks intimidating. I really like this sprite. Against it, Silver Wind will do the most damage, but here the effective power is glitched. It should only be 90. Still, with special damage and the Omni Boost, Yanmega does more than half to Steelix in a single hit. Actually, much more than half. It knocks the Steelix out in one turn. I did not expect that. Yanmega comes through with an easy and quick victory against Jasmine. It didn't even have to tank a single Rock Throw. Okay, Rocket plotline stuff. Here, against this Raticate, I was realizing that my Tinted Lens calculation is all over the place, so I paused and I fixed it. It should be right from here on out. And that's exactly what I thought until I fought this Weezing, and then realized that my Tinted Lens calculation is still wrong because it's showing Silverwind doing 2 times damage, which is just not correct. I paused again. I corrected it. Now it's right. It's gonna be right from here on out, I promise. It seems like Executive Petrol might be difficult, but he isn't, because Tinted Lens. This ability is so good, by the way. I'm doing neutral damage with Silverwind as a result, and I can one-shot even his ace Wheezing. The rival in the underground is straightforward once again because of Tinted Lens. Ancient Wind, Ancient Power, Ancient Wind, oh my gosh. What am I doing? I'm losing it here. Ancient Power one-shots both Golbat and Quilava. Silverwind takes care of Magnemite in a single hit, and then Ancient Power takes care of Sneasel, and I have Shadow Ball for the Haunter. There are some other rocket battles, but they aren't really that important. I get paralyzed during one. I'm not buying very many full heals, and I don't know where to pick them up off the ground like I do in Crystal, so I have to backtrack to the Pokemon Center, losing some time. Little inefficiencies like this are going to get weeded out as I play more and more HeartGold. Houndoom on Archer's team is actually kind of scary. I used Silverwind here because I was a little bit overconfident. Tinted Lens has definitely been boosting my confidence, maybe more than it should have. If I had gone for Ancient Power, I would have one-shot and avoided getting hit by Fire Fang. In this case, luckily, it doesn't do that much damage. This guy's just kind of incompetent in general. On my way out of Radio Tower, I grabbed Sunny Day, just in case it's going to be useful against Red to get rid of the Hail. Now, time for the final gym leader in Johto. Let's face Clair. Gyarados is first. It is so nice using a special attacker where I don't have to worry about Intimidate. I two-shot using Ancient Power, move on to the Dragonair, and against it, I go for Silverwind, which is objectively a mistake. It has Thunder Wave, just like Jasmine's Magnemite. So in this case, I should have set up Substitute. Because I get paralyzed, I end up losing once against Clair. But in the next battle, I just set up Substitute on the Gyarados, then the Dragonair is stuck trying to use Thunder Wave, and both of them can't do anything. So I've made it to the Kingdra with my Substitute in place. It breaks it with Hydro Pump, but it never gets a chance to attack again because Yanmega scores a critical hit. The Kimono girls end up being a little bit more difficult than I was expecting them to be. Umbreon does some damage with Dark Pulse and Confusion. The Espeon that follows is a one-hit, but then the Flareon survives an Ancient Power and attacks with Fire Blast, one-shotting Yanmega. Okay, I had a choice here. Do I go and train, or do I use rare candies to get access to Air Slash? Because I think it's really going to help against the Kimono girls. I decided to do some training to get to level 52. And in this patch of grass, I run into Raikou. I'm running into it a lot in HeartGold. In this case though, I actually have access to the Master Ball for this fight, but I didn't decide to use it because I need it later on to catch Snorlax to get access to the leftovers. I tried a regular Great Ball, but Raikou breaks out. I level to 52, then I use rare candies to go up to 54 and teach Air Slash in the place of Substitute. I don't think I need it anymore since most of the Thunder Wave users are behind me. This time I get better luck against the Umbreon, so Confusion doesn't cause issues. Okay, will Ancient Power one-shot the Flareon? I should be using Air Slash here. The answer is no, it survives Ancient Power. Also, it burns me with Will-O-Wisp, which is really unfortunate for the remainder of these battles. Luckily, I'm not using physical damage. Air Slash does a lot of damage to the Jolteon, a weird interaction brought to us by Tinted Lens. Finally, Vaporeon's last, but it doesn't really do anything, so Yanmega makes it through the Kimono girls. Okay, I don't actually know where Solar Beam is in HeartGold and Soul Silver. Let me quickly look it up. Oh, it's available in the Goldenrod department store, so I could have had access to this move earlier on. I'm sure some of you will have caught me in the comments saying that Solar Beam is only available in Kanto. In both games it's not available in Kanto, but it is available only after you defeat Clair in Pokemon Crystal. In this case though, in HeartGold, it's available earlier on, which I guess is good to know for future playthroughs. Unfortunately, Sunny Day comes just before Clair, which is not ideal if you want to be using Solar Beam earlier than that. For now, I don't think I need it. I'm just going to continue with Yanmega. While fighting mandatory trainers, I level up to 57 and have a chance to learn Bug Buzz, which I teach in the place of Silverwind. I don't think I need two moves that can Omni Boost me. Ancient Power's already got that niche covered, and I'm holding onto it for a reason. The rival before the league is scarier than he has been previously in this playthrough. Ancient Power one-shots the Sneasel, but it is not able to one-shot the Typhlosion, which uses Lava Plume, dealing massive damage to Yanmega. My Bug survives with 40 hit points and knocks his ace out. From here though, Ancient Power one-shots Golbat, Bug Buzz takes care of Magneton, and Shadow Ball knocks out Haunter and the final Kadabra. Okay, time for the Elite Four. My expectation is that Will is going to be extremely easy. I have Shadow Ball, which is super effective against most of his Pokemon. Sometimes Bug Buzz is better, like against the Jinx or, for example, the Executor. This fight ends up being a clean sweep for Yanmega. Koga, on the other hand, is more difficult in some ways. Ancient Power is able to one-shot the Ariados and then two-shot the Crobat, but what I wasn't expecting was the Venomoth to survive. Then it uses Toxic, but after a full restore, I switched to using Air Slash, which does more damage and Venomoth goes down. You might have noticed what my mistake was there. Because of Tinted Lens, I should be using other moves like Bug Buzz against the Venomoth for a little bit more damage than Ancient Power would be dealing. This ability really makes you rethink the entire type chart, something that I am already not very good at thinking about. I did think I was going to pull through with a win here despite the bad poison. I'm able to one-shot the Fortress using Air Slash, but I'm not able to one-shot the Muck. Because of that, and the fact that Koga uses another healing item here, I end up losing. The solution here is very simple. Just attack the Venomoth with a move that does more damage, like Air Slash, for example. Remember when I said I was bad at talking about the type chart? Yeah, I am gonna sit down for a full day and make cue cards and memorize every single type interaction. I haven't done that since the beginning of the channel, despite constantly making errors about typings. At least I know that Venomoth is a dark flying type. Because I one-shot it, I'm able to make it through Koga's team and move on to Bruno. This is another easy battle. I have Air Slash, which is super effective against most of his Pokemon. It's also special, so it's doing massive damage to the Onix. And with that, I win and move on to Karen. She is a Dark-type specialist, and I have Bug Buzz, which is super effective. The only Pokemon here that's worrying is the Houndoom. It does survive a single hit because it's taking neutral damage. It chooses Flamethrower and deals a lot of damage. Yanmega's special defense is really terrible. Every time I got hit by a Fire-type move in this playthrough, my heart had a sort of little palpitation, like I almost lost there. Anyways, I knock out the Houndoom, and after that, both the Vileplume and the Gengar are one-shots. Now, time for Lance. This playthrough has been going very well so far, and Yanmega is about to run into a wall. While Gyarados is first, and it's not an issue, I two-shot using Ancient Power, I don't get an Omni Boost. Then Aerodactyl tanks my Ancient Power, uses Rock Slide for 4 times damage, and Yanmega faints. Okay, I saw 3 ways to defeat Lance. Number 1, muscle my way through the team using rare candies to just one-shot the Aerodactyl. Number 2, use Air Slash on the Aerodactyl, which does the most damage anyway, cause a flinch, and then knock the Aerodactyl out over 2 turns. And number 3, get an Ancient Power Omni Boost off of the Gyarados and one-shot the Aerodactyl without the need for a flinch. The second and the third option both synergize well together, and I figured that that was the best option so that I can save my rare candies for later in the game. After all, Red and Lance number 2 are both really scary battles. So I went in on this strategy using Ancient Power for Gyarados and Air Slash for Aerodactyl. Sometimes I get frozen by Ice Fang. That's really annoying. Other times, I make it by the Aerodactyl, move on to the Charizard, forget that Ancient Power does 4 times damage, use Air Slash instead, fail to get the one-shot, and then Charizard finishes me off with its own Air Slash. So that's not very good play. I reset 2 more times, and then I defeat the Aerodactyl again. This time around, I one-shot the Charizard using Ancient Power. That's why I'm keeping this move, specifically for this Fire type. After that, I have to make it through 3 Dragonites. However, in this battle, I have an Omni Boost, so I'm able to one-shot the first one of them, but my PP can't go the distance. I've run out of Ancient Power, so I have to use a different move against the next Dragonite, and that allows it to survive. Even with Paralysis though, I'm able to pull through and knock out this Dragonite. Alright, time for the ace. It has Fire Blast, and it does use it. However, because of the Omni Boost, my special defense is high enough to shrug it off and attack, knocking out Lance's final Pokemon. With the Elite Four behind me, I think I need to mention an item that I probably should have picked up and been using far more extensively during this playthrough. The Choice Specs. This item improves a Pokemon's special attack by 50%. However, there is a downside. You can only use the first move that you choose at the beginning of the battle. You essentially have to spam one move. Usually in solo challenges, this is pretty scary because you have to work around type effectiveness, and using one move without the ability to switch out doesn't make a lot of sense. But with Yanmega and its ability Tinted Lens, this item starts to make a lot more sense. I really should have been using it earlier in the run. Okay, time for Kanto. I pick up the Psychic TM here, but I'm not actually going to make use of it for the remainder of this run. Before I make it to Lavender Town, I'm just trying to get the waypoint. This gentleman with a Growlithe hits me with Heat Wave because I missed an Air Slash, and this Heat Wave does way way more damage than it should have. My Yanmega is level 62 and the Growlithe is level 45, but it almost does half to me. This is just emphasizing how much damage Yanmega takes when it's hit by special attacks, which are super effective. Speaking of special attacks that are super effective, Erica doesn't stand a chance when I have Bug Buzz in the choice specs, and the same goes for Sabrina. Misty does a little bit better than both of them though. She puts me to sleep with the Lapras and then hits for massive damage using Ice Beam. This ends up giving me 1 reset. My solution here was to not use the choice spec anymore and go for the Hard Stone instead. This way I'm not locked into only one move. I was hoping to get an Omni Boost with Ancient Power and then knock out the Lapras, maybe with higher defense so that I would survive its hits, but the reason I win is simply because it misses Sing. I make fun of Surge a lot, and I shouldn't today. He ends up beating Yanmega, and I'm gonna backtrack to him later on. I don't think fighting him right now makes a lot of sense. Brock, on the other hand, has moves that do 4 times damage to Yanmega, but he's never going to get to use them because I one-shot all of his Pokemon using Bug Buzz. Blaine can't get me with Flame Body today. That's really satisfying after the last playthrough as I've done. Then I make a choice that I normally don't in HeartGold. Going into the Seafoam Islands, I bypass the rare candy, which saves a lot of time because you can simply just push this boulder out of the way and then go up the stairs and proceed to Janine's gym. Tinted Lens, in combination with the choice specs, is making me really confident. I don't think Yanmega is going to need level 100 or even close to it to defeat Red. Janine, of course, is very easy. I backtrack to Surge. This time around at a higher level, he's also simple. With all the easy gym leaders in Kanto out of the way, now I need to take on Blue. I expected this fight to be fairly simple. Bug Buzz is able to one-shot the Executor, so it's never going to get to set up Trick Room or hit me with a move like Hypnosis. The problem is the Arcanine that's next. I can't one-shot, I'm two-hitting. Because of that, it can use Flare Blitz, which does a lot of damage. Then Rhydon comes in, and Bug Buzz does not one-hit. Stone Edge obliterates Yanmega. I tried again hoping for an Omni Boost. I'm gonna say that a lot for the remainder of this run, so please bear with me. I don't get it, so Rhydon defeats Yanmega again. There is another way to get by it though. Flinch with Air Slash. Then I can knock it out with Bug Buzz, use Ancient Power for the following Gyarados, and Blue sends in his ace Pidgeot. I figured Ancient Power would do okay damage here, plus I could get an Omni Boost. I don't. Pidgeot goes for Air Slash, and that's that again. So this fight's actually quite brutal. I was just getting confident, and now Blue is taking me down a peg. If I don't flinch the Rhydon, then I lose, but if I do flinch the Rhydon, then I can move on with the remainder of the battle. The solution that I should have come up with is using Air Slash on the Pidgeot and flinching it in addition to the Rhydon, but instead I just get a critical hit with Ancient Power and it faints. So I move on to the Machamp and Air Slash easily one-shots. Time to head back to the Elite Four for round 2. Will, an easy sweep. The Bronzong's kind of annoying, but after that everything is straightforward. Koga should not have been an easy sweep. My speed stat right now is 187, meaning the Crobat has 3 more speed. This is the one time that I am outsped, and it's actually disastrously bad, because Crobat can hit for massive damage using Fly, but then it just misses with its second Fly and I knock it out. Because of that, I beat Koga. Bruno's not as easy as I was expecting. I thought Air Slash was just going to one-shot everything, but the Lucario with the Steel type takes neutral damage, and I am not able to knock it out in one turn. Because of this, it deals some damage with Iron Tail, and then finishes Yanmega with extreme speed. There have been a lot of moments already in this video where I just say, and then I crit. And this is another one of them. I just crit the Lucario and knock it out so I don't have to deal with it anymore. I wish I had a more intelligent play here, but I think I'm doing the right thing. Choice specs with Air Slash so I could flinch in the case that I don't one-shot with a crit. Karen's next, and she is really easy. This time around, I am able to one-shot the Houndoom. And guess how I did it? With a critical hit again. Anyways, we are moving on to Lance now, and prior to this fight, I am going to use rare candies, going up from level 73 all the way to 85. This battle I assumed that I was going to have to win getting at least one Omni Boost. The Salamence at the beginning is going to take 2 shots with Ancient Power, and it does have Flamethrower, doing almost half to me initially. Then Charizard comes out next. This is actually good for Yanmega because I'm able to one-shot using Ancient Power, but I also get another chance to use this move for a potential Omni Omni Boost. That is 3 rolls of the dice before the Gyarados ever comes out. The problem is, once it hits the field, if I don't have an Omni Boost, then it's going to use Thunder Wave, paralyze Yanmega, and everything spirals out of control. I had 2 more fights that went badly, getting no Omni Boosts, and then in the 4th one, I get 2 in a row on the Salamence, and from there I just crush the remainder of Lance's team. I'm also using the leftovers for this fight. I did catch the Snorlax with the Master Ball, so I have the ability to alternate between different moves. This is one case where the choice specs aren't really that good. Anyways, Yanmega pulls through, and it's just under the 3-hour mark, headed towards red. I pick up 1 more rare candy prior to getting to him, and then I can use it to go up to level 88 over a damage rounding threshold. I really hope that this is enough. The first question is, do I one-shot the Pikachu when using Bug Buzz, my most powerful move against it? And the answer is yes. He sends in Charizard next. I have kept Ancient Power to have 4 times damage against this absolute monster of a fire type. Unfortunately, I do not one-shot, giving it an opportunity to use Air Slash for special damage, bringing Yanmega down to 26 hit points after hail damage. This does not leave me in a good place for the Lapras that follows. It just hits me with Brine, and that's that. In the next fight, I learn an unfortunate piece of information for Yanmega's success. I sometimes knock out the Charizard using Ancient Power. This time, it was with a critical hit, but sometimes without critical hits, I am going to knock out the Charizard. And as soon as I learned that, I was like, I can do this. I know that with Attract, I'm going to be able to mess up the Lapras long enough that I can get at least 1 or 2 Omni Boosts in with Ancient Power. If that happens, or if I get an Omni Boost with Ancient Power on the Charizard, Yanmega is going to be supercharged and ready to sweep the rest of Red's team. So I doubled down on this strategy, and I lose over and over and over again, to the point that you might be curious, does the Omni Boost even occur if you knock out the enemy's Pokemon? And the answer is yes. There was a glitch in Generation 2 where if you knocked out the enemy Pokemon, secondary effects wouldn't trigger, which doesn't affect most moves, but it affects Ancient Power because you can't get the boost if you're knocking out Pokemon with it. But in Generation 3, this was corrected. So I know I can win at this level, but I think there is a serious argument for leveling up to 90 or 93 to ensure that I always one-shot the Charizard. This would dramatically improve my results against Red, because the Lapras isn't actually that easy. I have to use Attract, and then knock it out slowly because Ancient Power doesn't do much damage. I could get more damage using a move like Bug Buzz, or potentially have more upside with Air Slash for the flinch chance, but I didn't want to go for this because I think that long term, getting 1 Omni Boost early into the fight is going to give me the best chance of success overall. After a bunch of resets, I eventually made it to the Snorlax for the first time. Yay, we're gonna do it. Actually, the Snorlax is weaker than the Lapras significantly because it doesn't get the same type of attack bonus with Blizzard, and its special attack is nowhere near its physical attack, so I can tank these hits decently. The problem is, the leftovers is countered by Hail. I can't really teach Sunny Day if I want to have Bug Buzz for the Pikachu to one-shot, so I'm constantly trading damage and healing with the weather effect, meaning my health stays where it is. The enemy needs to never attack me, and that ends when I make it to the Blastoise, use Attract, and it hits its Blizzard. I have many more resets. I'm not going to go through each one of them. Most of the time it's me just rolling Ancient Power and failing to get Omni Boosts. Eventually I make it back to the Snorlax. This time around though I have much better health. Still, Snorlax does hit, and this does a lot of damage, leaving me with only half for the Blastoise, which is not enough to survive one of its hits. As I continued to battle and lose to Red over and over and over again, I started seriously considering if maybe I should just level up, but I was pretty far in with the resets. By this point, when there are 50 in total, you don't want to go back and level up 2 more times just to make the fight a little bit more consistent. I just wanted to finish this run and see how long it would take me to do it with the current strat. I have bled so much time anyways, this is not optimized. So I kept trying, but eventually I realized I can switch up my strategy which doesn't involve leveling, and that cuts out all the backtracking time that I would have to do. I can teach Rest in the place of Bug Buzz. Air Slash is able to one-shot the Pikachu, and if I don't get an Omni Boost, then I can use Attract and Air Slash together to stack the flinch chances against Pokemon like Snorlax and Blastoise later into the fight. And Air Slash will be super effective against the final Venusaur. Eventually though, what happens, which almost never happened during all of these attempts against Red, was I get an Omni Boost when knocking out the Charizard in 1 hit. Why couldn't have that happened like 15 fights earlier? 20 fights earlier. Anyway, I got it now at long last. With that and rest, I'm able to heal successfully against the Snorlax and stall it out because it only has 5 uses of Blizzard. Once it goes down, I can also do the same against the Blastoise if I really want to. This is made easier by my Omni Boost and my increased special defense. Also Attract, as always, is the MVP move here at the very end of the game. Finally, I knock out Blastoise, move on to the Venusaur, and I have another heart palpitation. It hits with Sludge Bomb, doing massive damage. It poisons Yanmega, and I just barely squeeze in a rest. Then, while I'm asleep, it hits another Sludge Bomb, gets a critical hit, and brings me back down to red health. Oh my gosh, am I gonna lose this again? Yanmega wakes up, uses rest, Venusaur is distracted by Attract. I get Air Slashes in, and finally red is defeated. In what I would personally say is a very bad first playthrough, Yanmega gets a time in HeartGold of 3 hours, 23 minutes, and 53 seconds. It had 56 resets, 0 blackouts. It finished the game at level 88 with a game time of 9 hours and 34 minutes. These results place Yanmega in the E tier ahead of Ursaring and just behind Meganium, but the grass type's results were much better. 3 hours, 10 minutes, and 57 seconds. If you want to see why one of the starters that people say is the worst did decently well in HeartGold, go and check out this video. It's actually a pretty good Pokemon for a solo challenge in this game. Yanmega, on the other hand, was not as bad as I was expecting, but it also didn't perform as well as I thought it would after I realized the utility of Tinted Lens. I am really looking forward to using this ability on future Pokemon. That's it for this video. If you support me through YouTube memberships or on Patreon, thank you so much. Now, if you've made it this far, you're incredible. I'll see you in my next video.